Hi everyone. Are you planning to buy or sell a home and want to have a better understanding of the current housing market? I'm Jason Land, your real estate market expert here in beautiful Western North Carolina. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to go over some of the residential trends we're seeing in the residential real estate market, and then we'll take a closer look at the market trends we're seeing here in the Asheville region. I do this report every month, so be sure to like and subscribe to my channel to ensure you're always in the know on these topics. Now let's begin at the national level with a topic that's on everyone's mind, the economic slowdown. I'll start here with this news from the Wall Street Journal. Recession fears surge among CEOs, a new survey suggests. The journal goes on to say that 3/4 of global CEOs say that we are in a recession or that we will be in the next 12 to 18 months. Now, there's a widely held definition of recession as 2 quarters of negative GDP. Well, we saw a negative GDP in the first quarter, and at the time of this market update in mid-July, there are forecasts from the Atlanta Federal Reserve saying that we will be in a negative GDP in the second quarter as well. That could mean that while we're not officially in a recession at the moment, we may be looking back at this time in the weeks and months ahead and recognizing that, in all likelihood, we are in a recession to some degree or another. Regardless, it's important to understand how the real estate market has weathered past economic slowdowns and specifically recessionary slowdowns. In this graphic, which goes all the way back to the early 1970s, you'll see the blue line indicating the 30-year fixed interest rate. The yellow highlighted boxes represent the interest rate during recessionary periods. Now you'll notice that in each recession the mortgage interest rate initially goes up, but in order to stimulate the economy and to recover from the recession, the interest rate would go down. Here's another table that tells the story in a slightly different way. Now you'll notice that in each recession going back to the early 1980s, the mortgage interest rate has started at a higher percentage, but then you can see that in each instance the mortgage rates fell towards the end of the recession. Now, while there's no guarantee that this is what will happen during future recessionary periods, we can look at the historical data and recognize that a recession has led to a reduction in interest rates. In fact, over the past 5 recessions, mortgage rates have fallen an average of 1.8 percentage points from the peak seen during the recession to the trough. And in many cases, they continue to fall after recession is technically over in order to lift the economy out of a recession. Okay, let's digest that for a moment. Everything that the Fed is doing right now, like raising the Fed's fund rates, they're doing in an effort to tame inflation. In order to do that, they have to slow down the economy. If we do end up in a recession, the Fed knows from the past that the impact the housing market has on the overall economy is substantial, and that stimulating the housing market is one of the primary levers available to the Fed that can help lead the economy out of a recession. It's also important to remember that recession doesn't necessarily mean housing crisis. Now, this is a key chart to understand. We've already seen that interest rates will initially rise but then fall during cycles of recessionary periods. This graphic illustrates what has happened to housing prices during recent recessions, and we can see that in 4 out of the 6 times going back to the early 1980s, that housing actually appreciated or went up in value during recessionary periods. There were 2 times home prices fell. There was a minor decrease in the early 1990s and then another more substantial decrease in 2008. Now, understandably, since 2008, when the housing market was at the epicenter of the recession, the word recession has taken on a new meaning for a lot of folks, causing them to link recessionary periods with depreciating home values. But we see from this chart that's not always the case. Let's turn now to some discussion about what's happening in the local market here in the Asheville region. Now, from an inventory perspective, the number of available homes for sale remains low at just 1,960 homes. That represents just 1.7 months of supply. The month's supply of inventory is a calculation that shows the relationship between supply and demand in a housing market. One way to think of this is to consider that if new homes stopped entering the market, how many months would it take for the current homes for sale to be bought up and for the inventory to be depleted? The 1.7 months of inventory supply that we are currently seeing in the Asheville region means that demand still far exceeds supply, making this continue to be a seller's market. Now, a balanced housing market, on the other hand, where buyers and sellers are on a level playing field, is considered to have 6 to 7 months of inventory, and we've not seen that since 2012. That said, the current 1.7 month supply in the second quarter is a slight improvement from the 0.9 month supply we saw in the first quarter, meaning that we are seeing some, albeit minor, improvement in the housing supply shortage here in the region. Now, this is welcome news if you're a home buyer. We can see that with the reduced inventory, the homes that are available are not spending much time on the market. The average days on market in June averaged about 21 days, and this is down from the average time on market of 33 days the region saw last June. Because inventory remains low and buyer demand remains high, we are continuing to see increases in average list and average sales prices. With the average list price at $537,732 and the average sales price at $498,611, you can see that home prices continue to appreciate year over year here in the Asheville region. Now, buyers so far haven't been deterred. Sellers are not only receiving their asking prices, they are on average receiving more than the asking price for their homes, with on average sellers receiving a 0.5 percentage point more than the list price. So what does this mean for you if you're looking to buy or sell a home? Well, if you're a buyer, know that rising mortgage rates nationally have increased the cost of home ownership, and this has sidelined many prospective buyers. At the same time, historically low inventory, particularly here in western North Carolina, keeps competition high for those homes that are available. There is nothing that indicates a housing market crash is coming in the foreseeable future. So if you're holding out for that to happen before you jump into the market, I suggest you reconsider. At most, there might be a slowing of the record-breaking growth of home appreciation we've seen over the last couple of years. However, there really isn't much evidence to suggest home values will be dropping anytime soon. And if you're a renter looking to become a homeowner, consider too that in many markets, rents have increased 40, 50, and even 80% in some markets over the last couple of years. There's no better evidence than soaring rents to suggest becoming a homeowner might help you regain control and stability over your monthly expenses. Now, if you're looking to sell your home, there's no better time than the present. As a home seller, you have something lots of buyers are after. Although the rising interest rates are causing some buyers to become skittish, that doesn't mean sellers aren't still receiving multiple offers and many times at or above their asking price. In this region, sellers continue to receive cash offers and buyers are continuing to waive many contingencies just for the privilege of having their offers accepted. And while your home might not be appreciating at the record-breaking rates we've seen over the last couple of years, homes are still appreciating and are certainly not losing value at the moment. So whether you're a home buyer or a seller, there's absolutely no reason to sit on the sidelines. Thank you for listening to this market update. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you still have questions about the market or you'd like to speak with me about the strategies that I've developed for buying and selling a home here in the Asheville region, give me a call today.